Have you ever helped someone when nobody else would? Maybe you stood beside them during their darkest moment. You listened to their problems, supported them emotionally, helped them financially, or defended them when everyone else walked away. You expected nothing in return. Not money, not praise, not rewards, just basic appreciation. But something strange happened. Instead of becoming grateful, they became distant. Instead of respecting you, they started criticizing you. Instead of valuing your kindness, they slowly turned against you. And perhaps the most painful part wasn't the betrayal itself. It was the confusion. You kept asking yourself the same question. What did I do wrong? The uncomfortable truth is that sometimes the problem isn't what you did. The problem is what your help made them feel. Most people believe that kindness automatically creates love and loyalty. But psychology suggests something much darker. The very act of helping can create emotions that many people don't know how to handle. Because every time you rescue someone, you unintentionally remind them of something they desperately want to forget. Their weakness. Think about it. The day you helped them was probably the day they felt powerless. They needed support because they couldn't solve the problem alone. And while you may remember that moment as an act of compassion, they often remember it as a moment of vulnerability. A moment when they couldn't stand on their own. A moment when someone saw them struggling. This is where the hidden psychological conflict begins. Human beings have a deep desire to feel capable, independent, and in control of their lives. When someone receives significant help, that desire is threatened. Your kindness becomes a mirror. And in that mirror, they don't always see your generosity. Sometimes they see their own dependence. And for certain people, that feeling becomes almost impossible to tolerate. What happens next explains why some people eventually bite the very hand that fed them. At first, most people genuinely feel grateful. They thank you. They appreciate your support. They may even tell others how much you helped them. But gratitude doesn't always stay gratitude. Over time, something begins to change. Every interaction reminds them of the moment they needed you. Every success they achieve may feel connected to your assistance. And if they secretly struggle with pride, insecurity, or self-worth, that memory becomes uncomfortable. The human ego hates feeling inferior. It wants to believe, I did this myself. It wants independence. It wants power. And when reality doesn't match that story, the mind starts searching for a way to reduce the discomfort. This is where resentment is born. Instead of appreciating the person who helped them, some people begin to resent the reminder of their dependence. Your kindness becomes evidence of a debt they never wanted to owe. The situation becomes even worse when your life appears more stable than theirs. Your discipline, success, confidence, or emotional strength becomes a mirror reflecting everything they believe they lack. Rather than using that reflection as motivation, some people experience envy. And envy has a strange habit. It transforms admiration into criticism. Respect into hostility, gratitude into resentment. This is why some people begin attacking the very people who supported them. Not because those people harmed them, but because they can no longer tolerate what those people represent. This doesn't mean everyone behaves this way. Strong and emotionally mature people often appreciate help without losing their self-respect. But insecure individuals sometimes need to create a villain in order to protect their ego. If they admit you helped them, they must also admit they needed help. And for some personalities, that truth feels unbearable. So instead of confronting their discomfort, they distance themselves. They criticize you. They downplay your support. Or in some cases, they betray you entirely, not because you were cruel, but because your kindness forced them to face something inside themselves they never wanted to see. Does this mean we should stop helping people? Not at all. The lesson is not to become cold. The lesson is to become wise. One of the biggest mistakes people make is confusing helping with saving. Helping empowers. Saving creates dependence. When you constantly solve problems for others, carry their responsibilities, rescue them from consequences, and remove every obstacle from their path, you may believe you're being compassionate, but sometimes you're preventing growth. People develop confidence by overcoming challenges. They develop strength by carrying their own burdens. And they develop self-respect by solving their own problems. The healthiest form of help is the kind that makes people stronger, not more dependent. Offer guidance. Provide support. Share opportunities. But avoid becoming someone's permanent solution. Because the longer someone depends on you, the greater the risk that dependence will eventually transform into resentment. This is why boundaries matter. Never help because you're afraid of being disliked. Never help because you want loyalty. Never help because you expect gratitude. And never give so much that you lose yourself in the process. Give freely, but give with wisdom. Some people will appreciate your kindness for the rest of their lives. Others will forget it the moment they no longer need you. That is simply part of human nature. The strongest people understand this and continue helping anyway. Not because they expect something in return, but because their character is not controlled by other people's reactions. The next time someone disappoints you after you've helped them, remember this. Their response does not define your value. Their betrayal does not erase your kindness. And their resentment does not mean your generosity was a mistake. Just make sure your kindness creates strength, not dependency. Because true compassion is not carrying people forever. True compassion is helping them learn to walk on their own. And sometimes, the wisest thing you can do is help, step back, and let them grow.